Welcome to our top 3 Christmas gaming memories. I'm Matt Falvey. This is Matthew Owen.
Hey, what's up? Christmas is a good time. I like memories. Do you?
Yes, it's video games. It's nostalgia. It's all of that crap, and we're going to be talking about it. So we're going to be alternating our top 3 memories.
Yeah.
Me, Matt, and you can chime in with your top whatever gaming memories from Christmas, and we'll read them on the show, and the chat will appear on the screen. All right, so Matt, I'm going to go first, if you don't mind, unless you have one burning on you.
No, you go first. Now let's set the tone.
All right, so my dad had come. My first console was when my dad had just brought a Nintendo home, a Nintendo Entertainment System. He brought over all the family. We all watched it. But my first console was a Sega Genesis, and my mom knew that I really liked video games, and she got me that, and it was a big surprise. And I remember getting it, and I went over and I thanked her, and then I went back and I was looking at it, just staring at it, waiting for my dad to hook it up, which took forever. And then I noticed my mom wasn't there, and I went and found her, and she was crying. And
sandbag memory.
She thought that I didn't give her enough of a thank you, or maybe I didn't seem excited enough about it, because I'm not really a really excited kid, and it was probably just, it was all up here. I'm not an actor. I can't show things on my face. So
your brain's exploding. Your mom's all sad. She's like, my little Matt didn't enjoy his Sega Genesis. Don't what Nintendo do.
And this was the 90s, so she had a little part-time job. It was mostly a stay-at-home mom kind of thing. So she told me how she had to go into her own personal savings. And probably my dad didn't think we needed another video game. We already had one, right?
Yeah.
So
why need another?
And then a second part of that was that I was also given these games, these Sega Genesis games, and the other family was there. And I was at a young enough age, where people will talk about you as if you're a baby, but you can hear and understand them. Yeah. So I was maybe like, I don't know, 6 or something, or 7. And I remember my sister was telling my parents, oh, it was so cute. I went to go wake up Matthew, and he had his hand down his pants.
And you're thinking, like, I was playing Sonic.
Like, I'm here. I just didn't say anything. I thought, I'm just going to play dumb. They'll just think I'm a little kid still, even though I was really embarrassed. And I thought, maybe if I just don't act like I'm embarrassed, it won't be weird, and they'll just think that's what little kids do. So anyway, that's my first video game Christmas memory.
Well, but I gotta ask though, what was the first game you got? I mean, your mom got you a Genesis, but did it come with Sonic 1, 2? What was the first game you played?
We couldn't get Sonic for a couple days, so what they did was they rented me a couple games, and the first one was some kind of like Mickey Mouse with a magic hat.
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that was also on the Super Nintendo.
Yes,
I believe.
World of Illusion, I believe it was called.
Yes.
So that was that, and then and then eventually got Sonic and Sonic 2 and all that crap. But yeah, I loved that little Sega. I loved that it had a headphone jack. I couldn't believe how much better it sounded. Heck
yeah, bud. Well, thanks for the sad memory.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, I'll switch it up. Going retro as well. I was explaining to Matt before we started, I have a weird thing where I didn't get a lot of Christmas video game presents because I had older cousins who would pass them down. So I would just get them throughout the year, and I didn't get like a new system until past N64. But the first real memory I have as far as like something that sticks out for me as far as Christmas is in my family, we do Christmas Eve and we do Christmas Day. And on Christmas Eve, you know, you get one gift, two, usually one from my grandma and then one from somebody you would trade with, essentially. And I opened up my normal gift. Don't remember what it was. Opened up my grandmother's gift to me, and it was Banjo-Kazooie, Nintendo 64. Not only that, but it had the VHS tape that would give you trailers for like Donkey Kong Country, or DK64, Jet Force Gemini. So I still have that VHS downstairs. I should have brought it up for the show, sitting in storage. But I remember taking it and unwrapping it, running downstairs and popping that thing in.
Run away from home.
Well, the thing
I don't need you anymore. I got what I came here for.
Thanks, I'm out. I have a lot of other cousins who are around my age. So, you know, we all sat down, we played Banjo-Kazooie. But for whatever it was, you know, I got GoldenEye, I got Perfect Dark, I got a bunch of Mario 64, I got a bunch of N64 games. And for whatever reason, Banjo-Kazooie sticks out in my mind, not only just because it was Christmas, but because like I remember opening that, being so excited. And still to this day, if you put a gun to my head and said Super Mario 64 or Banjo-Kazooie, I would say Banjo-Kazooie. So
I think Banjo-Kazooie is really, really suited for a kid because it's it's very bright, colorful, like Mario, but whereas Mario is more goal oriented and more big events and can get very challenging. I think Banjo-Kazooie is just like a lot of walking around. There's a constant reward. There's lots of exploration.
Collectibles.
Like,
they're...
And at that time, for us as gamers, it was all we wanted was a big 3D world to explore. It was so new, and to basically have this like cartoon world that you could go around in, it was pretty mind blowing. So I think I could see why that was more of a. That's a game you want to play when you're a kid.
Well, and also the characters, too. If you consider, like, Mario characters, you got Peach beginning, come to the castle, it's a nice whatever, Peach. And then you got Toad, and he's like, wah, wah, wah. But every character in Banjo, and if you've played a game like Yooka-Laylee recently, they do the same thing. Every character has some sort of, like, Simish, and it's all very obnoxious. So you'll talk to a character, and they're always, like, weird. Like, oh, here's a big old crocodile, and he'll be like, wah, 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 wah. So it's very kid-oriented. I think playing as an adult, like you said, Mario 64 is focused enough where you could just enjoy it from a gameplay perspective. Banjo is just full of imagination, and that could be a little bit too much. But yeah, Banjo-Kazooie, and that must have been, oh, geez, I don't even know. When I was 12 or 11, that's a hard guess. Maybe younger, 8 or 9.
It would have came out like 96, 97.
Yeah, so it was like 6 or 7 probably. What about you? Do you have any eras like that around that N64, PlayStation 1? Because I didn't get a PlayStation 1 till later.
I didn't have a PlayStation until later either. I wouldn't ask my parents for expensive things. Maybe they had. I don't remember them making me feel bad about it, but I thought like that's for other kids to have, you know.
Sidebar, real quick. When you were picking your gifts, I think this is an interesting thing. Would you make a list and then give it to your parents?
Well, that ties in perfectly to my story, but please explain.
Yeah. So my parents would always be like, "Hey, what do you want for Christmas?" You know, my grandma would ask, and then we'd have our list that we would give to Santa. Well, we'd give them to my mom to give to Santa or whatever. Yeah. But also, they would bring us, you know, the Toys R Us or whatever catalog back when they did those. I'm sure they still do those today. And then we'd get a marker, and we'd circle what we wanted. And they said, hey, you can only circle 5 things. And I mean, we wouldn't get all 5 things, but we'd circle them. And this is probably how I'm going to do it with my kids. Is I think they judging by how big the circle was is, you know, what you want the most. So that was how we kind of did it, both a list and here's a Toys R Us. I'd go immediately to the game section, circle, oh, I want Super Mario. Oh, I want this big old Lego set. And that's how we did it. But yeah, how'd you do it? And tie into your story, I guess.
I mean, for the Genesis, it was probably something I talked about, and that was probably maybe, I don't remember writing lists. The only time I remember writing a list, I put on a bunch of things that I had written a list twice, but this time, this is right before I got the PlayStation, so I asked for like a 6-button Sega Genesis arcade controller, because I liked Street Fighter, and I asked for a few other things. And then one day I just went into my parents' room and I was looking around.
As we do as kids.
And this is the only time I've done it. And I opened up the cupboard door and I saw a bunch of
your mom naked
gifts in there. Yeah. My dad just said, shove her in there. And and I saw all the gifts I'd asked for, and I thought,
Aw.
oh, this is great. But now I'm like, it would have been so much better to open it up, and now I have to like fake the excitement a little bit more because it kind of killed the excitement. I thought,
Yeah, you only spoil your Christmas gifts once, I think. Everybody likes, oh, look, and then once you finally find out, then Christmas morning is kind of like, oh, the surprise is ruined. I never went looking for my Christmas gifts, but then again, I think it's because my parents hid them somewhere else, like at a relative's house close by and stuff like that.
That's
I don't know.
Yet another buzzkill story. Try to pick us up with story number 2, Matteo.
Okay. So yeah. All right. This wasn't me, but I want to bring it up because I think it's something that Christmas is a time when people just kind of chill, right? You know, besides all the running around and cooking and cleaning and buying stuff, people generally like to chill, especially on Christmas morning. So this wasn't me, but I was tangential to it. My older brother got a original Xbox, for Christmas. I got a 360 whenever that came out, and that was fun in its own regard. And when I got my 360, we sat downstairs and played through Perfect Dark Zero, which was a great time at the time. Wow, the graphics, insane. But I more remember when my older brother got Xbox because he got Halo. And I remember him sitting there. We had our living room with the tree and the little TV, and he hooked up the Xbox. You know, he unwrapped it, opened it, hooked it right up to that TV that is watching Christmas Story or whatever was playing, and he just started playing Halo and played it for like 5 hours. And my mother, who doesn't even play games on her mobile phone, sat there and watched him play for hours. And I was like, maybe it was only 20 minutes, but in my mind, it was so interesting to me that my mom, who had no interest in video games whatsoever, didn't play them on her own at all, was interested enough to watch my older brother play Halo just from a, like, oh, that's an interesting standpoint. So it was one of those times where games brought the family together in a weird way. I mean, I've played games with my mom since, but it's always like, you know, Trivial Pursuit or something like that. So that was a good time. Do you have anything more recent? I'm trying to think. Like, I have one last really good memory I can think of game-wise. But as I grow older, like, I think the 360 was the last time.
Well, because, look, game consoles don't come out at Christmas time. And now when they come out, we buy them. So,
like, the newest, the last thing I got for quote-unquote Christmas was the Wii. And I remember it because I stood in line to get it, so it was a surprise for my brother, right? But then we actually opened it and played it like a week before Christmas anyways. So like that was the last Christmas thing I did as far as video games, was went and waited in line for a Wii so my little brother could get it for Christmas.
Oh, that's nice. I have one slightly more modern.
Stand outside, but yeah, go ahead.
This is the PS3 era. I had not played video games for a while. I had a PS2, I had a Dreamcast, I had a GameCube. You know, I dicked around on those. I played a bit of Shenmue. We played, I think I was playing a bit of Mario Kart here and there. But I wasn't too, I didn't have any interest in current games.
Yeah.
And I was playing a lot of Warhammer, the tabletop fantasy game.
Warhammer's a great time. With the figurines.
Yes, but I was very addicted to it mentally. I just thought about it all the time.
Those games can be addictive.
I listened to strategy, YouTube guys talking on YouTube about strategies and army lists, because it's one of those games. It's like Hearthstone or a card building game where you have a finite amount of points, right? So you're thinking, like, what's the perfect way to do it? And all you want to do, you play, and then you want to tweak the list. I spent way more time tweaking the lists and thinking about it than ever actually playing the games. The games took like 4.5 hours. You had to drive to some comic book store, and I don't think my girlfriend liked that.
My buddy had a house in the corner. They had their Warhammer table.
The whole house.
It was always there. Like, it was like...
They bought a house in the corner of the block. That was the Warhammer house.
They're like, here's the Warhammer house. No, but I remember very specifically every time I go to my buddy Chris's house, in the corner, there was a big, topographical map. It had figurines, and I had no clue what Warhammer was. And I would be like, what is that? And he would be like, that's my older brother's Warhammer table. Be sure don't touch it. Because, like you said, you'd set these things, and then games could take hours and hours and hours.
Yeah.
And when you're just playing within the house, you walk away or whatever.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Warhammer was always this adult thing for me.
Oh, it is, and it's so expensive. And I don't think she liked that I spent so much mental energy on it, and then on the weekends would, spend like all of Saturday playing this thing. So what her plan was, And I didn't realize she was doing this. She was asking me, what are you going to get me for Christmas? I said, I don't know. What do you want, like a sweater? She's like, no, Matt.
I want you to stop playing Warhammer.
You have to get me something more. I said, oh, well, don't get me anything big. Let's not get each other big things. You know, let's just be with each other. She goes, look, I'm going to get you a PS3. And I said, what? That's so expensive. Why would you do that? She goes, Christmas is about buying things for people they wouldn't normally buy for themselves. And I got so into that PS3 that I stopped playing Warhammer, and I realized, oh, this could be my new thing. And I can actually talk to people about it, whereas nobody wants to hear about Warhammer in real life. At least people sometimes want to hear about video games, and they understand video games. And Fallout 3 and Modern Warfare 2 got me, that was where I could put all my mental energy and didn't have to dominate my brain all the time, which I noticed was happening when I got into Hearthstone, and I stopped. And that's why I'll never play a MOBA, because I would get so into a MOBA.
I still want you to do League of Legends so we could stream me and you doing ARAMs.
No, it would be too much.
You gotta do it, because League of Legends has a mode that's casual.
I'm recovering.
We'll argue about it you gotta. I can't speak. You have to acknowledge the addiction before you can recover from it.
I'm going to finish off this story, then we're going to address the chat, because we have.
I have one last story.
I know.
Oh, but yeah, go to your. Okay, yeah, you.
So I'm going to finish the story. Then we're going to get to Michael Corey, Random Sal, Alex Shish 222, and Crazy Cause. We'll get to theirs, and then we'll have yours last, and then we'll finish off with some more questions and comments or other people's stories. So
my lovely girlfriend is stopping by soon, so maybe we'll see.
Yeah, you can maybe pop out while I'm reading theirs. Do that.
Well, let's hear it. Let's go.
Okay, so the rest.
Not here yet.
So the rest of my PS3 thing is that I knew it was coming. And that cool. And I had played Rock Band on the PS2, and then Beatles Rock Band was coming out. And this was like when everybody liked Rock Band, everybody liked Guitar Hero. Normal people were playing these games, you know? Like you could have a party and Rock Band would happen. It was great.
Yeah, so non-gamer friends were playing Guitar Hero and stuff.
Exactly.
It was its own thing.
And I love the Beatles. They're the reason that I play music, and they're such a big part of my life. So, and we did a opening on New Year's Eve, so I got to open the PS3. We played, my mom got me Beatles Rock Band, made up for that whole Genesis incident. And her this girlfriend liked to drink a lot, and her family would like to drink a lot. So it was this big ass Christmas New Year's Eve party. We stayed up till like 5 a.m. playing Beatles Rock Band. It was just one of the best times. And then a lesson I learned from that was we tried to replicate it the next night, and it didn't work. Everyone was really cranky, and it ended terribly.
Yeah.
So that's mine.
Real quick. Beatles Rock Band specifically. I remember buying it, and then my buddy, who I was friends with in high school, he's super, super into the Beatles. He's actually gone on to like make Beatles tribute shows and stuff and do them live. I remember him, and then his roommate at the time came over to my house, and we set up in this room actually and played through the entirety of the Beatles as a 3-piece band. The Beatles Rock Band is probably the best Rock Band game in my opinion.
I think so. I mean, it can be kind of limiting. If you like a Beatles, for sure. If you like metal or something, it's pretty boring. But I'd have a mic stand and a bass, so I could do both. No,
they had the harmonies, which they never had before, so we had 3 mics, and oh man. Yeah. Okay, let's hear from the audience.
Well, all right.
Excited.
So first person to put in here is Crazy Cause, who is the original 90s kid, the man who makes it all happen. Lachlan, finishing Harry Potter Philosopher's Stone. He's Australian, so they call it Philosopher's Stone.
It's the best way to call it.
On Christmas Day. Harry Potter.
That's nice.
Also a good Christmas universe. So you got it and finished it, or did you get it before Christmas and then finished it? Please give us that answer, Crazy Cause. Michael Corey says, good evening. My first memory and probably fondest memory is getting my PS2. Oh, what a system. I remember getting it with 2 games. Get this, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets and the first Spider-Man movie game. But Michael Corey couldn't get the hang of the analog sticks.
They were tough, because before that it was N64. You just had the middle one. PS1 brought them on and stuff like that. But PS2 was really where you started using those dual analogs.
It was a real brain splitter.
That was PS2 set the expectations for everything thereforth. You know, when we were growing up from an NES, Super Nintendo, Genesis, so many different control schemes. Now almost everything is exactly the same. Even like the Switch, even though it's huge. Chamber of Secrets is a great Harry Potter game. The best one, I think, is 6 for the 360. But Chamber of Secrets, there's something about those early Harry Potter games where they barely followed the books and they were just silly.
I would love a Harry Potter game on a Persona engine.
Yes, it would be great. I would like a Harry Potter game in general. And anything. The last Harry Potter game they came out with was like a crappy Connect one for the 360 for Deathly Hallows.
Oh, you're doing all the wand waving. Michael Corey.
No, but it was like.
Michael Corey says, but in the end, I got the hang of it and still love those games, despite the fact they're movie license games. He mentioned Spider-Man. There was one.
Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, Spider-Man 2 is really great with the web slinging through the city.
I have actually a good, a little story about that. There was Hollywood Video. Everyone knows Blockbuster, but we had something called Hollywood Video. And they had a pass thing where you could, pay $10 and get any games, however many games you wanted. So I was into that, and I knew the manager guy. And I went in there one day and he was like, "Hey, we got that Spider-Man 2 game.
What?
If you want, yeah."
Why does he say like he's trying to lure you into a van?
Exactly. Well, because it wasn't out yet, and he's like, "If you want, I can let you have it." And he let me play it, and it was super weird.
But it'll be our secret.
Yeah, I went to GameStop and I was like the next day and I was talking about Spider-Man 2 and they're like, "How'd you get it?" And I was like, "Oh, the guy at Hollywood Video gave it to me." So I like ratted that dude out because I had no sense of what embargoes were or release dates. I just knew the game wasn't out yet and they happened to have it. But Spider-Man 2 is a good game. Like it is a good game through and through.
We got an update on Crazy Cause. Received Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone and finished it on the same day. That's funny that you call that a great memory. I remember when my parents had gotten divorced, and one day my dad just said, "I'm going to come, today we're going to buy presents." And it was like Christmas in September. So
okay.
I picked Wing Commander 4, The Price of Freedom, starring Mark Hamill, Jonathan Rhys-Davies, and Biff from Back to the Future.
Yes.
But I finished that really fast. It's a really short game. And I tried to tell myself, yeah, but it's got alternate branching storylines, but I didn't.
But you finished it,
and it was like a 4-disc game, and it was so short, and I was pissed about it.
I read through Deathly Hallows in a day, well, more like 12 hours straight, and then like the end the next morning. But sometimes blasting through those Harry Potters, it's a good time.
Played or read?
Read. Sorry, when the book came out, I went to like the midnight release or whatever and read that, and it was great.
Wait, what are you, like a speed reader?
No, I mean, Deathly Hallows was what, like 1,000 pages? I mean, you got to, if you're sitting there on the couch and you're reading all day, I mean, as long as you can read like a page a minute, you can get through 600 pages pretty quickly.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. I mean, I was super into it too.
So Alex SH222 says story time, and then didn't say anything else.
But that means he's gonna blast us with a novel here.
Random Sal says hello. Alex SH says, ha ha ha. Random Cell, what do you do when you're too addicted to a game? You know this, but you can't quit because it's too good.
Seek help.
Wow.
Are you truly addicted to the game? If you're addicted and it's harming that's dead serious. If you're addicted to the game and you're spending too much money or something, it's just like anything, like a drug or alcohol. You got to reach out, man.
Yeah.
Games can be addictive, especially if they're, have some sort of loop system, gambling system. That's something serious. But if it's just a fun game, just be healthy about it. Moderation.
Yeah. If you really feel like you are addicted, but it is fun. I mean, if you're addicted, you're going to think it's fun, right? Sometimes you don't even think it's fun. You just have this desire to play it. But if you do really feel like you are, like Matt said, tell somebody, and just so it's not being this like hidden pastime thing, and then they can kind of keep you in check, or just try to fill it with something else. And then the more time you spend away from it, the less its pull will be. We haven't updated what he said there. Random South says, it doesn't affect anything. No school, work, or family time is affected, but all of my game time goes to this one game. Hasn't mentioned what the game is.
Well, that's okay. It's probably an MMO or League of Legends or Dota or something like that. The thing is, if it's not affecting your school, if it's not affecting your work, if it's not affecting your social and personal relationships, it's fine. Then you're not actually being excessive. If you only spend maybe 5 minutes talking to somebody and then 14 hours playing that game, then that's an issue. But that's like Matt said, just tell someone, hey, I might be a little bit too into this game, because people will call you on your crap. You know, if you're playing a game for 10 hours, they'll be like, hey, you should maybe not play that or something. And especially if they know that you think that you might have a problem with it. But if it's not affecting anything, addiction becomes the worst when you stop going to work, when you start spending money that you know you shouldn't be spending, and that kind of thing. So always make sure to look out for those danger signs, because when that stuff starts happening, you need to stop immediately. And that's one of the hardest things.
Well, I mean, Random Cell says it's not affecting schoolwork, family time. It's just more, it's more just affecting the other games you're playing. And the game is Insurgency, a first-person shooter.
Oh, well, that's fine. I mean, if you feel like you want, eventually you'll get bored and you'll play other games or more game. Insurgency 2 will come out. I guess force yourself to boot up another game. You know, sometimes, especially in mine and Matt's line of work, sometimes we have to play games that we would rather be playing, you know, another game. You know, I like Rocket League, but sometimes I have to play the newest X, Y, or Z game. Sometimes you just got to bring it up and you got to launch it and kind of force yourself into it.
Yeah, but I mean, you have to do these for reviews and work and stuff.
Exactly.
But I think if it's only been a short amount of time and you're playing the heck out of it, just ride that out and enjoy it while you can, while you still love it. And then, look, if it's stopping you from playing newer games, the great thing is in 3 or 6 months, those games are going to be cheaper than if you would have bought them now. I mean, if you have been playing this game for like 3 or 4 or 5 years and you can't play another game, it's been 3 years.
It's up to you personally. If you feel like you're missing out, like I said, I force yourself to launch the other game. But as long as you're not hurting yourself, your future, or anybody around you, man, it's fine. It's just you're spending your time how you want to spend it, and don't let anybody tell you it's a wrong way.
Time enjoyed is not wasted. You know, and another tip: you could find a friend you play with or find a friend you can play a game with that's different.
Exactly. Perfect.
Random Cell says, "Well, you two are cool." Purple Heart, thank you very much.
Hey, thanks, man.
This actually started off some other people talking about game addiction and stuff. Michael Corey said the earlier Harry Potter games were great, very Zelda-like.
Yep.
I had no idea. Corey Lavoie says hello. Corey says sounds like him in Orcs. He plays Orcs Must Die Unchained a lot. He's the kind of player that the game makers they don't like, because Corey never pays for anything. He just does it the old-fashioned way and he grinds it out. Corey's like somebody that has a credit card and pays it off every month.
Well, that's me. But there's a weird thing is that when you look at, there's a lot of people who play a lot of games. It's okay to be a gamer who just plays one game, right? Yeah. It's okay. It's no chess player became the best chess player by splitting his time between chess and checkers, right? It's however you want to play, man. It's as long as you're not hurting anybody. But if you feel like you're missing out, community is the best way. You know, friends oftentimes will be like, "Come on, stop playing that and jump on PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds."
Here's what Random Cell says: "All my friends, Insurgency."
Well, then you've built a community around it. You guys are having a good time.
Yeah, man.
Have a good time, man.
Just enjoy it. Like you say, if it's not affecting IRL, then just enjoy it. Blaze Edge says, started playing Persona 5. It's amazing. It is on sale right now for both PS4 and PS3.
Jeez,
I want to get that. I'm a little, you know what I'm afraid about is that I don't think, they were saying on Game Informer, they don't think anyone's ever beaten this game. They mean this tongue in cheek, but it's such a long game at the end.
My little brother beat it in like a week, and I watched him do that end game, and it is pretty like excessively grindy. Maybe not grindy, but it's just it's long. Like I played 4 or 5 hours of it. Yeah, I think so. I played 4 or 5 hours of it, and I'm still in like kind of where they're teaching you. But I can see that game has legs to go way, way beyond. Where at a certain point you're not getting new information or experiencing new content. You're just grinding to get to the end level. You know, that's a lot of what I saw from the end of Persona 5.
Yeah.
Is him just grinding to get to the necessary
That's
level.
why I stopped at Persona 4. I got stuck in a dungeon, and even though I love the story and characters in Persona 4 and even the battle system, I just don't want to grind through those really bland dungeons to get through it.
I would love to play more of it so I have more consideration for Game of the Year, because RPGs, generally speaking, this year, standard RPGs, there hasn't been a ton of them. Like South Park Stick of Truth is on our nominee list for best RPG.
Yeah.
Or not Stick of Truth, Fractured But Whole. I want to play more Persona 5. That's all. It's just like you said, it's 90 hours, and that's just expecting it. It ain't something you can blast through. It's
massive.
like 100 hours. Yeah.
Michael Corey says, well, I finished Xenoblade Chronicles 2 last week, and I'm still thinking about it. I played it nonstop because I was truly addicted.
I'm glad you enjoyed it. Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Some people like it, some people don't like it. My buddy, I was watching him play it. He seems to be enjoying it. People were complaining that Jason Schreier on Kotaku hated it. But then again, he didn't like the first Xenoblade, so, I mean...
Well, what do you expect?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I do have this final story, and then I probably have to giddy up out of here.
Okay, let's hit it. And then we'll do Matt's final one, and then I'll read more comments and stories after.
Yeah. Okay, so here, it was probably the biggest surprise, and I held off on it because you had your sad story in the beginning. This was right... Well, I mean, this isn't sad, but it was heartwarming in a way. So me and all three of my brothers, me, my older brother, my younger brother, usually we had different tastes. We want different things. But one year, we all wanted a GameCube, okay? We all wanted a GameCube, and that year my dad also got laid off. So we understood, or at least my older brother understood, that it probably wasn't going to happen. GameCube just came out. You know, it's okay. So we're sitting there on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, and we are opening our gifts, and then there's one from my grandma, and we open it up, and it's the GameCube, and we freak out, and my dad walked out of the room, and it was one of those things, like, we were surprised because we, as kids, were old enough to understand that money is tight, things cost money, and sometimes you can't afford the things that you want, and that's okay.
One second. Your dad walked out of there, and was it like a mic drop moment? Or why did he walk out of the room?
I think he saw it, and that because he didn't pay for it. My grandma understood that we wanted it and that he didn't have enough money for it.
Wow.
So she bought it, and I don't think he knew. Because, you know.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, I got you.
Men can be proud.
Sure.
In a way. So I think he was a little bit just, you know, he didn't want to be crying or whatever. I don't even know, or maybe he needed to collect himself. But that was the thing that was surprising, is we understood my father had lost his job. He wasn't going to be able to pay for it. It was very expensive. And my grandma went and she bought it for us. And so we were surprised. My dad was surprised. We got what we wanted. It was one of those nice things where it worked out. And it was because, you know, my grandma ended up spending however much money it was. But it was the one year I can remember we all wanted something very specific. And there wasn't a question of if we were going to get it or not, because we knew we weren't going to, because we didn't have the funds. And then we were surprised because my grandma was nice enough to do that. So that's like the one thing that sticks out Christmas wise. And I love my GameCube to and fro. Like, it's one of my favorite systems, if not my favorite system of all time. Like, and that probably has a lot to do with it, because it's the one thing I didn't think I was going to get, but I wanted the most. And, like, yeah, that's what Christmas is about, man. It's about being surprised and,
sure.
And, you know, yeah, and gifts are nice and stuff. And as you grow older, I think I start to enjoy the sentimentality of Christmas and being together with people. But hey, man, I would be lying if I said that getting a GameCube as a kid wasn't one of the best moments of my life, right? Like, we like things as kids. But
yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's I was a lot older. I was in my 20s when I got that PS3, but like you said, it was something I'd not even ever thought or considered about getting, because I thought, it's too much money. And then to have a girlfriend, you know, save up a bit and
plop it down.
She plopped it down.
Speaking of the girlfriend, she's here. So I'm gonna back away from the camera and why don't you read off some of these things?
All right. Thanks for joining us, Matt. Goodbye.
Okay. All right. Bye.
All right, everybody. So what else do we have on here? We've got people talking about... Corey said, I just bought stuff for the game today because it was on sale. Oh, I see. Oh, for Orcs. So you did. You went in. They got you with at least one. Oh, Corey, they'll be happy to see that. They probably have... You're probably on some computer somewhere in the Orcs Must Die headquarters, and they're like tracking all the people. Like, you know, in Ready Player One in the trailer where the kid's doing really well, and they're like, who the hell's this guy? They go, who's this Corey? He's gone the longest without spending any money. He keeps playing. He plays it every day, and he never buys. And they got you. They probably, like, popped the champagne. We got him. You're probably the reason they have the sale to begin with. So... we have Ted Belcher, Diecast Empire Strikes Back. That was, what was that? Something that you got at Christmas? The diecast is in like the, like little pewter figures, that kind of thing. Games never launch on Christmas. Not your holiday. Michael Corey says Persona 5 took him 132 hours. Holy moly. I don't know if I've cracked triple digits in a while. I mean, I got pretty high maybe with, God, Legend of Dragoon's taken a while. But not 100. Not in a game that I've, my Final Fantasy 9 Vita one has a huge hour count, but I fall asleep with that thing on all the time. And just in the Vita, it's like really good with power management. So it doesn't, I think running the PS1 games isn't a huge strain on it. So I'd wake up in the morning and like, oh crap, I left that on for 7 hours. Ted Belcher saying, shy, what game did you want though? In Christmas in Afghanistan, I got a carton of cigarettes for my unit. That's like a line straight out of The Breakfast Club. My old man, you know what he gave me? A pack of cigarettes! Corey grinded out 70 levels before he paid. The 70-level legend. But he's got to take off. Work in the morning. See you, Corey. Thanks for hanging. Thanks for joining. Blaze Edge. 200 hours on Lightning Returns Final Fantasy 13. Wow. So Lightning Returns, is that with multiple playthroughs, like a New Game Plus, or was that on your first one where you were just going around and killing all the creatures for like the Omega creature and the final weapon and all that stuff? Interesting. Final Fantasy 13 is funny. I still think about that trilogy all the time, and it's one of the first games I would think about going back to. I never really go back to games at all, but I do want to play that. Ted Belcher, unable to turn the PS2 on Christmas. That's the reset. Oh my god. And what are you saying? It has M+. M+ the game or New Game Plus? And Corey says, hopefully someone starts up. Yeah, we're doing a giveaway. Corey is going to buy the Final Fantasy 13 trilogy on Steam, and he's going to gift it away. So how you enter is you share a video from our YouTube or our Twitch, Facebook, or something from our website. You share it on your social media. That counts as an entry ticket. Just take a screenshot so we can see it. You can, up to a maximum of 3 times. You can share on different platforms and you can get up to 3 entries. And then I'll take all the entries, all the proof, I'll put them in to a big jar, and I'll do a live stream, and we'll pull it out, and the winner will get the whole trilogy. So if you haven't played it, don't believe the critics. 13 has its problems, but it's still a worthwhile game to get through. It can be very hard to get through that first half, but the battle system and everything you can do in the second half is great. 13-2 is one of my favorite Final Fantasies ever. And Lightning Returns is another unique twist, great battle system, and its story starts off a little wonky, but it comes together very strong as well. New Game Plus 5 times. Wow. Were you finding new things in the different playthroughs? Did you just enjoy it enough to want to go through it again? The boss on New Game Plus is very difficult in hard mode. Still haven't beat. Oh my god. See, that's the great thing about these JRPGs is that they are... they understand that you like the character that you're building, and that they give you all this extra room. You can get to a certain level to beat it, and then why not just let you keep going? It's so easy for them to put in even an enemy that has the same character model, and you can just change up the color and call it ultimate whatever. And then all you got to do is you tweak the numbers so it's a more difficult fight. So easy for them to do. It's nice if they can put in a new character, something really big. But I mean, you could do something like, you could just take a Cactuar, scale up the image so it's like 1,000 times the size, and then just have it do 1,000 times everything. 1,000 times more HP, 1,000 times more damage. And you don't have to do that much more. And something like that, you just put it in a corner. Easy. One playthrough of Lightning Returns is around 55 hours, says Michael. Yeah, I think it's probably... I don't think it took us 55 hours. Pacifist Run 13, Ted's doing is on day 6. There are videos showing how to beat him, but I was too lazy to learn to. I love the battle system to keep playing it. I think, and Ted says they did scale the Cactuar. Maybe that's where I'm thinking of that. But I'm thinking of making it like a super, super duper duper. Yeah, I mean, for me, that's always been one of my favorite things in an RPG. What I loved about the 13 trilogy and in 10 is when you come up against a boss and you just bang your head against it, and every time you lose, you find a new way to tweak it. And those games, the best thing about them is that there are so many different ways you can approach a battle and come up with something where you solve that puzzle using ingenuity, using a smart tactic as opposed to just grinding it out. To me, is always so satisfying. You know, so like bringing Snow in and figuring out how to beat Bartandalus fairly under-leveled, I would say, is always one of my favorite memories from 13. And we had some other moments in 13 too, Lightning Returns, that were about that. And, you know, that was just so fun. Final Fantasy X had great puzzle bosses. One of the best parts of that game. Try this. Let use live bodies as shields and shooters. Change the shield skin to a door. Be the first tank with a door. Yeah, we could try that. This Christmas, am I getting any video game stuff? I think my mom was asking me, what do you want to get? So I said, how about a PSN card? A Nintendo eShop card would be good. The thing with buying Nintendo games, I got the Switch. I love the Switch, and I want to get my games digitally because it's a portable system. I don't want to carry around a lot of cards, even though you can put them in the case. But I don't want to be swapping them in and out. But it's Nintendo doesn't have the sales like PlayStation does. I bought the Fracture But Whole because it's half off, $40. That's great. Take advantage of it. You know, maybe that kills their profit, and they're doing that because they're going to start releasing some DLC. So they want to get you in buying the vanilla game, and then they sell you the DLC, and that's fair. But Nintendo, I mean, when you go in their sales section, it's all these games you've never heard of that I've never even seen on PC that are not too enticing. And then if they do have a sale, it's like 10% off, 15% off. Overcooked Deluxe Edition was on sale, but I just would rather have the basic edition. Overwatch is half off too. Yeah, and Overwatch they put on sale all the time because they know that they're going to make their money on loot boxes. Ted Pilcher's off-hand skin, not weapon skins. Persona and Shin Megami Tensei are Corey's favorite games, as well as Final Fantasy 13 Trilogy, Kingdom Hearts. I have Kingdom Hearts. I bought that on sale. I haven't played it yet. Xenoblade Chronicles. Okay, see, well, that's a pretty wide range. I don't know anything about Kingdom Hearts or really Xenoblade Chronicles. Ted thinks Overwatch is better. And Rec Room. I might grab Persona 5. Everybody's saying it's so good, but I just end up with so many games that I can't play them all. And then I think, well, why not just wait? It'll be even cheaper. Eventually, it'll be $30, $20. You save 10 here and here and here. That's a whole nother one that you could get. You know, it's so tempting to just wait, especially because I'm already doing 3 games on the stream now. So, like, how many other games can I do? You know. Who knows? Hey, Felix Evander, how are you? We're just talking Christmas memories, but hey, well, if anybody had any other Christmas memories of their own or anything they wanted to bring up, do it now or forever hold your peace. I'm going to put on one of my favorite Ice World songs. This is from Super Mario 3D World. Oh my God, I love this song so much. Where is it? It's coming right now. Great. So, tomorrow I have to do an early workshop with Stella, so I won't be on at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. I'm going to try to get on at maybe... what was I going to say? I'll try to come on around 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time tomorrow. And if not, then it'll be around like 3 or 4 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow. And then Christmas morning, I'll probably take off. Unless Stella's in bed sleeping, then maybe I'll do that. Do another one. Hard to stay away. And Corey wanted to make sure we knew that it was for Steam, that giveaway for the 13 trilogy. And Michael says, yes, you're already playing many huge JRPGs. at the moment. Yes, I am. We're playing Legend of Dragoon, Lost Odyssey, and Tales of Xillia. I'm really getting into this Tales game. The beginning was bad for me. I just didn't find the beginning very effective. And the characters could be a little bland, but now they have a great dynamic, the three of them. The fish out of water goddess, who's learning what it's like to be a human. Alvin, the mysterious rogue. And Jude, the plucky, talented, but naive and shy antagonist. And the way they have them all kind of bantering back and forth with their different perspectives and point of view, it's pretty interesting. I love the gray area and talking about how the world and the actions in these games, it can be so epic and so over the top. But what I really care about is how does it make the characters feel? And what do they think is right and wrong? Because in real life, there is rarely a right and wrong to most things they talk about. So that's what makes it interesting, is seeing people's perspectives on things, right? You know, I mean, some people think it's blasphemy to mix your food. Other people would never let their food touch. Why? Why do you care? You know, and then obviously you can get a lot deeper than that with politics and philosophy and everything else. But to see that explored in a game, I think Tales of Xillia does that really, really well. Now I'm pretty interested to maybe try out a few more, like maybe Berseria. Everyone talks a lot about Vesperia. And of course, Symphonia, the old GameCube one. I almost called it Mr. GameCube version. Mr. and Mrs. GameCube version. We'll just call it GameCube-san. But I did grab South Park, so I was looking for some games to do a recording of in case I ever needed to take like a week off from streaming, a week or two. You gotta have vacations here and there, right? Or maybe I'll go on a tour with music. So I gotta find a game that I want to just record. But I feel like all these games, it's like, oh, but it'd be fun to do with the stream and see what everybody else thinks, you know? Now that Blaze is playing Persona, probably be a lot better to have videos of that and be able to, you know, play that alongside Blaze Edge and hear her thoughts about it and hear her strategies and that kind of thing. So I want to find a game that I could finish in a week, so it could just be a week of that game, and then you're done. Back in 2008, Michael Corey says, visiting his dad, who told me he bought me new runners. He pointed out of the Christmas tree. I tore into the gift wrap to find an Xbox 360 along with Gears 2. That's awesome. My parents bought me, they gave me this present. I was probably like 17 or something, 16, 17. And I opened it up, and I actually have it in this room. I'll show you what it is. All right, here's what it was. All right, so I'm looking at it and I go, oh, it's a stand. I go, yeah. Well, you know, you're getting older, you're going to be moving out soon. So we thought you could use the stand. You could use it as an ironing board or a table. It's going to be really useful. And I had to pretend that this was a good gift. I thought, yeah, that's great. Oh, that's super useful. Yeah, thanks a lot. And then the next gift that I opened up was this really amazing synth, big keyboard. I was really into music at the time, still am now. And they bought it off some guy who used to be in some band in the 70s that had a one-hit wonder. And that was nice. But it was basically like giving you... It would be like if somebody gave you a console stand, but didn't tell you what it was for. So it's just like a piece of plastic. And you're like, yeah, you could put a book on that. You could put a DVD, a couple DVDs on that. And then the next thing you open up is like a PS4. You go, oh, I get it. The old PS4 stand trick. So yeah, I still have that stand. No, that can't be the same one. Oh my god, it might be. Just followed me around. Hard to tell. I hope it is. I hope it is the same one. Yeah, my parents, they tried it again and they gave me like a box that said a VCR, and then inside it was a... I don't know what it was, but this was at a time when DVD players had become the standard. They weren't the new fancy thing anymore. So they didn't trick me into thinking they got me a VCR. That would only happen if they had become senile. If I believed that that was really a VCR, I would be worried about them driving and not leaving the gas on, you know, blowing up the house if they really got me a VCR. If I would have believed that. So, now you can get somebody VCR and they might actually like it. They'll be like, right, yeah. Vintage. Watch some old tapes. I like the VCR era. Kids couldn't scratch tapes. Like now, you want to buy your kid a DVD? Oh my god. Kids are gross. They're gonna like take the case out and drop it, rub it all over the carpet. I remember the first time my friend went to put a disc of some kind, it was a DVD or a game, and he took it out and he rubbed it on his shirt. I was like, what are you doing? And then I learned later that you can actually wash discs, and you can take a night, like not a tissue paper, but something soft, and go gently from the center out. Center out, center out, center out. You know, just rub it on yourself. Crazy. Crazy. Well, that's going to do it. That was the top 3 Christmas memories. Thanks, everybody. Be back tomorrow with... What are we doing? I think tomorrow might be Tales of Xillia. Because... what are we saying here? Yeah, we did Lost Odyssey, we did Dragoon. Tomorrow's Tales of Xillia, and I am really excited for it. The story moves so fast. I think we're going on to episode number 5 of that. So, that'll be cool. But it won't be at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. It'll be either at 11, 11:30, or even later. Depends if I can go in between our 2 workshops, or if I can do it after our second workshop. But I'm going to say goodnight and goodbye. I hope you guys have a great Christmas. Maybe I'll see you tomorrow. I understand everybody's really busy. You guys have a great time. Also, check out on our Facebook, Lachlan, Crazy Cause, put up a unboxing of a brand new phone. And it's the first unboxing video he's done, and I like his style. Got a very dry, is he joking? Is he not joking? But he gives you the facts. Gives you a good look at the phone. It's got some special brand name camera in 2 lenses, so looks pretty sweet, pretty slick. And Michael Corey says, cards are the best. Thank God for the Switch. Oh, I'm loving my Switch, but I need a new game for it, I think. Maybe I could go back to Breath of the Wild, but too many RPGs to play. Thanks, guys. Thanks, girls. Thanks, everybody. I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Merry Christmas.